Hi guys, welcome back to Claws by Kirsten. Today I'll be talking about the best beginner fountain pens. And the first thing I want to talk about is the term beginner. I don't really like this term, but I couldn't think of another way to say it without using words like beginner or starter fountain pen. The reason why I don't particularly like this term is because it sort of implies that there's this class of pens that you start with that are early purchases or acquisitions in your fountain pen journey, but then somehow they aren't used anymore or they're cast off to the side once you move or upgrade to other pens. And oftentimes those would be pens that are more expensive and less affordable, and etc. However, for me, I'm 2 years-ish into this hobby, and I still use a lot of my beginner fountain pens. Granted, there are people who are in this hobby for like 20 years, 50 years, right? Maybe their entire life. Like obviously they've had a lot more experience with different kinds of fountain pens, but I also don't think that all of those people have, sold off, given away, or trashed their first fountain pens. That's not necessarily the case. A lot of them still have it. So I don't really like this term, but couldn't think of another word, so we're gonna stick with it. So for this video, I'm gonna go over some of these fountain pens, and they're going to have several requirements to be on this list. All right, so the very first requirement is that they have to be relatively easily accessible, as in they're easy to find. All right, is that right? So if they're easy to find, that means I'm not going to pick something like a vintage pen that is a little bit harder to come by on the market. You really have to scout eBay, for example, in order to get it. That's not in this category, because I'm thinking of the beginner fountain pens as a pen that anyone can just decide one day, hey, I want to try dabbling in this hobby. Let me find something that I will like to use. So that's the number one thing for me. It has to be easy to find, and it has to be at an accessible price point as well. So what I'm going to say is it has to be around the $30 mark. And when I say $30, I mean like $30 Canadian. That's like what, 20 American around? Probably less, actually, less than 20 American right now. So it's whatever it is, okay? Like 18 American, I guess, somewhere around there. Anyway, so $30 Canadian. I guess I should also write this up here, so it's obvious for people. And another thing is that you get bonus points for this if they're available in a variety of nib sizes. And that's because if you're starting out your fountain pen journey, you might not know what you want, right? Like for me, I thought I wanted a fine or extra fine because I'm using 0.25 mm pens that are like gel pens and technical pens, but that's completely not what I enjoy in fountain pens. So it should be something that I can test around with, try different nib sizes, and see if I like it or not. All right, so I have 10 of these best beginner fountain pens for you guys to take a look at. And then I will also have 2 honorary mentions. This is a ballpoint from Carandash that I'm using right now to write this. Really good pick, I would say. If this was like one of the best beginner ballpoints, I would say this one. But all right, so let's start. I think the very first one I'm gonna go with is this pen over here. So let me just rest that there. That is the Caveco Percho. I have this in jungle green. This pen comes in a multitude of colors. You can get it from like, just your shades, like a white or a gray or a black, all the way to colors like this. I've seen blues, I've seen reds. There's just so many different options for this. And there are also options where the cap and the body are different. So this pen has a lot of ridges on it. This is something to keep in mind because some people don't like the fact that they have ridges, some people do. And it also has this cute little cap at the top, a finial, I think it's called, just at the end. Very cute, a little end cap thing. All right, and it is a snap cap closure. And it has this sort of grip section that kind of forces your fingers to hold it. It actually matches my nails today. To hold it like this, right? And it comes in a variety of sizes. I have it in the medium. It definitely comes in a fine as well. And the reason why I chose this is because this is a very dependable pen. It also uses a cartridge converter system. Right now I have the Caveco light blue in it, and it also fits in a secondary cartridge. So if you're on the go, you can always carry a second one with you. It is very lightweight and it is made of plastic. So it's good for long writing sessions. So this is the first one. I'm just gonna give you guys a demo. And then I will also give an approximate range of prices given what I saw using a Google search, all right? So this is about 25 to 32 Canadian that I saw. Again, comes in a bunch of sizes, a super wet writer, super enjoyable, incredibly dependable, and it's also an easy transition because you're not like twisting all the time, you just snap cap. Everyone's quite familiar with it, easy to clean. And this is a pretty robust body, I find. It does not, I haven't had any cracking issues and whatever. And I just throw my pens that I don't particularly, like I don't baby my pens, I guess is what I should say. I have pen pouches. I use those for pens that I'm carrying that I really, really enjoy, and I really would feel bad if anything happened to them. And I have a pen roll, but if I'm using a pen roll and I'm putting a pen like this in it, I'm usually going to stick that alongside another pen so they're kind of like smushed in the roll together like this. So it's always going to have that like pressure. Granted, you should not be doing this. I should not be doing this. However, sometimes you just want to carry like 24 pens on you and then you're going to do like a project or something like that. You need to use all these different ink colors and all these different nib sizes in order to organize how you would like to organize. So that's why I do it, because I would only want to carry one pen roll. I don't want to go out and buy another one. I don't want to like carry multiple pencil cases. So I just shove them in the same slot. But don't do that. This is the Caveco Percho. I would say that this is pretty, not similar in the writing experience, but similar in the style and the feel to a Lamy Safari. You will notice that a Lamy Safari is not in my list at all. And that is because I think it is ugly. I'm so sorry if you have one. I don't think that yours is ugly. You can obviously really, really enjoy your pen. That is your opinion. I think it's, you know, I think they're great writers and everything. I think they're super dependable, and it's obvious that people like them, right? Or else they wouldn't be making them after so many years, and it's not like a mainstay in the Lamy collection. However, I hate that little window that they have. I just think it's so ugly. I'm so sorry. I don't mean anything rude, but it's just personally not for me. All right, moving on. So the next pen that I have here is actually the Pelican Jazz. This is a newer offering from Pelican. I think it came out like a year and a half ago now, or just a year ago. And I got it in this rose gold finish. It also comes in a navy blue as well as a white color. And they are so, so, so pretty. I think they also have a black, but I'm not too sure about that. And it's got this like rose gold finish. It has shimmer all over the body. It definitely looks like a pen that is worth more than what you can find it for. So quickly, if I take it off, it has a very slim section. That's one thing to note out for it. It has a very slim section, and I have this in a medium. I forgot to show this with the Caveco. So let's bring that back for a second. Does it post? Because I know a lot of people like posting. Yes, the Caveco Percho posts. And it posts very securely. Does the Pelican Jazz post? Yes, it also posts very securely. It is not particularly unbalanced either. It is nice in the hand. So let's just... And what I like about the Pelican Jazz is that it still has that little pelican clip that kind of widens out here like a little beak. And it's a little bit more subdued. Plus, you kind of get an entry into the Pelican series without dropping an immediate like $200 for the Pelican 200, for example. Or if you wanted to go to a gold nib and you wanted something a little bit bigger than that, let's just say like the Pelican 800, that's like a $800, $1,000 pen. Like, maybe you just want to test out, hey, do I even like this brand at all? Even though, you know, the writing experience is going to be different. Sometimes you see, like prima facie, do you even like this brand or not? Do you like how it functions? Do you find that there are quality issues? If there are no quality issues in a cheaper pen, then perhaps the assumption here is that the more you pay, the better it'll be, right? Not always the case. However, it's good to kind of like test the waters with something that is a little bit more affordable versus something that's not, if you're interested in the brand. So Pelican Jazz, I have it in a medium. And this one retails for around $16 to $23. It is incredibly cheap, or it's incredibly affordable for what it is. It is a metal pen. The only thing with this is that it comes with this giant cartridge that is like, I have not had to re-ink this since I bought it. And I bought it like last November. So it's been a while. And it just keeps on writing. I don't know, it's like this is like a magic cartridge or something. Like I use this quite a bit. I've had to already change, like monthly, I change out my inks for all my pens. And I have a collection of like over 50 pens. But yet this one, have not had to change it, even though I consistently write with it. And I know I consistently write with it because I keep a what do I write in a day, like what pens I use today, and I write out everything, right? So here I have all of them here. And I didn't use this on that day, but I know I use it a lot, so I don't know. It's a case of the everlasting ink cartridge from Pelican. So highly recommend this. This is also a really cute pen to gift to someone, especially if, you know, they like pink, they like very interesting colors, they like a girly, slender pen. All right. So next I have a Hongyu C2 pen. This is again another snap cap. And does it post? Yes, it posts. All right. So I'm just going to go right into this one because you would have seen it earlier or like a week or two ago in my channel. I have a dedicated review for this pen. So this is the, I'm like kind of running out of ink. Sorry, my bad. I've been using it a lot. C2, and I have this in the fine. This pen comes in, I believe, a fine or an extra fine with their regular nib, but you can always get it changed to something like a medium if you pay an extra like $6-7. Okay, so this pen right now, what I have been seeing online is it is around $15 to $20. Oops, that is an ugly handwriting over there. The reason why I suggest this pen is because this one can take glitter. It is slightly bouncy, so it is slightly flexible. If I push it a little bit, you shouldn't really push your pens too much. You can see I got a little bit of railroading there, right? So don't push it too hard. But it does give you a little bit of that bounce that a lot of people are seeking from their like gold nib. So I think that this is a really fun option if you want to kind of try out how does it feel to have a softer nib versus one that is like hard as a nail, which is more common, right, amongst the more accessible pens, like financially accessible pens. Those ones are usually very, very hard. This one does have a bit of spring, does have a bit of bounce, more so than another pen that I would discuss later in this video. So this one also comes in a variety of colors. It comes in a yellow, a red, a blue. So basically your like Crayola first crayons ever package. Like that's basically all the colors that they have. And it comes in different nib sizes. It's quite affordable. I really recommend this pen. And I don't know if you guys can see it on this. Let me bring this up to the camera if you guys can see. Do you see that? There's like sparkle all over here because I put Vinta inks in here. And if you use Vinta inks, you know that they really pack in that glitter. They pack in that shimmer. And this pen can handle it. And I've used it a lot already, so I'm like running out of ink. But anyway, highly recommend this pen. Next, I will discuss this guy. So this is a Platinum Plaisir. It is another snap cap. And it has their special, like I think it's called slip and seal technology, where you can basically cap it and leave it for up to a year, and it's still going to write immediately after you unplug it. Well, not unplug it, uncap it. This one is a special edition, so it is a little bit more expensive because this is in this like pearlescent finish that is a little bit pink and a little bit green as you rotate it in the light. So this is the, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna say that's the Platinum Plaisir. I have this one in the 03, which is basically the fine, but it comes also in a 02, which is an extra fine, and a 05, which is the medium. I really like the medium. I want to switch it out. The great thing about this pen too, the Plaisir, is that it is a metal body post. And the great thing about the metal body is that you're not gonna like accidentally break it by like crushing this part. You will find that the Platinum Preppy is not on this list. And I love the Platinum Preppy. I used to have like over 5 or 7 of them at one time. I've since gotten rid of all of them, either gifting them or selling them on or whatever it is, attaching them in like whenever I'm getting rid of a pen, attaching one of them and being like, here, have a free pen, because they don't work with my lifestyle. And the reason I say that they don't work with my lifestyle is because I'm so rough with my pens. And because I'm quite rough with my pens, except for the pens that kind of stay at home with me, they just get dinged up, and because they have a plastic body, they get crushed. The Platinum Plaisir though, not a problem. It can get scratches. I don't know if you guys can see there's a scratch right here. And they can get dinged up over on this side, but they're not gonna break. They're not gonna have a crack down the barrel. They're not gonna have like a crack in random places, and then you're gonna be like, oh no, I broke my cap, and when I cap it every single time I hear a crunch, right? Like that's not gonna happen because this part's metal and this part's metal. And this part, I'm just pushing this down, but I'm like not pressing on with my hand to this part so hard that it will break. It won't. So that's great. One thing about the Platinum though is that they use proprietary cartridges, which means that you have to basically buy either a converter or their own cartridge. So I just like to buy their cartridge. I just keep the green in this one. And when I used to work in a lab, I would put document ink in here. So the Platinum Carbon Black. And the reason for that is because once it dries down, It's waterproof, which is great because you should not be using water-based inks that will run and smear if they get wet within a lab, right? Because you need to keep track of what you're doing. So if you work in an industry similar to mine where you have to keep documentation or notes and they can't be water soluble, I would recommend like the Platinum Carbon Black ink. I think that's a fantastic ink. I have it right now actually in one of my vintage platinum pens. And yeah, I would just highly recommend that. This is a great pen. Comes in a variety of colors, comes in a variety of nib sizes. I forgot to write the price, 25 to 30. And the reason why there's a range is just sometimes people do sales, sometimes they don't. Some shops have a higher markup than others. I'm not too sure why, other than maybe their overhead is particularly more expensive, or maybe they have a really good point system and you would prefer to pay a little bit of a premium on your fountain pens, but then you can have a good point system and a good like loyalty system with that particular shop. So just FYI, that's why there's a range for all of these. Okay, next I'm gonna go with something that everyone has been liking recently, which is the Ginhow 10. This is a clone, a copy, a dupe, whatever you want to call it, but it's not a counterfeit actually because it's not branded with Pilot. It's branded with Ginhow for the Pilot vanishing point or the Pilot capless, etc., etc. All of those kind of use the same mechanism. They are slightly different. For example, the Pilot Decimo is thinner than the Pilot vanishing point. However, this one is basically an exact clone for the Pilot vanishing point. So I have tried a Pilot vanishing point before, and I've bought a Pilot vanishing point before. I don't like it. There's something about it. I don't know. I think Pilot pens and me, we just don't get along, which is really upsetting because I want like a Namiki Emperor one day. And I feel like maybe if I got it, I would be so disappointed. I don't know. Anyway, that's for another day. This is a clicking pen. And although I personally don't like it, I really want to talk about this because I know a lot of people who like it. Both my friends who are also into fountain pens love theirs. They think it's like so awesome. And it is super convenient. It has a very satisfying click. I'll do it again. Nice. The only thing is, if you have this sort of a clip in the front here, it kind of forces you to hold it a certain way. All right. So if you don't like that like Lamy Safari grip, if you don't like that Caveco Percho grip, you probably won't like this one. All right. The reason why I have this here, even though I don't like it, and I know other people like it, is because it offers something different from all the other pens that I'm going to be showing you today. For one, it's capless, right? It's just a retractable fountain pen, and it's super convenient. And then the second thing is that this particular pen is very robust, and it also lets you try out that Pilot vanishing point to see if you like it. Do you want to spend like $300 on that pen? The writing experience is going to be different between the Ginhow 10 and the Pilot vanishing point. However, just like on the basis of does it feel good in the hand? Do you enjoy the clicking mechanism? Do you like retractable pens? All of these things can be tested out for a very reasonable price point. So I also haven't had any issues with this pen drying out. I know a lot of people have had issues with this pen drying out, and then they put some silicone grease in it and it's fine. But like I didn't write with the pen for like 2 weeks and I wrote with it again and it doesn't dry out for me. I'm not too sure why. I think maybe it's just like aligned pretty well. Did I write that right? Ginhow? Okay. Ginhow 10. This is in the fine. It comes in an extra fine as well. Currently, I don't think it's available in a medium, unfortunately. My fine writes like a true fine. I know a lot of people were saying that their extra fine writes like a fine and the fine writes like a medium. I have not had that experience here. And maybe that's also why my thing isn't drying out. I have no idea. Anyway, this one, consistently, I've always seen it for around that $30 mark. So I'm just going to say 30. It's like probably like what, 25 to 35 or 25 to 30. It's around there. So great pen if you want to test it out and see if you like it or not. Because for me, even though I've tried a Pilot Vanishing Point before and I did not like it, I was hoping that maybe my expectations of the pen or my opinion of the pen would have changed now that I've collected quite a few pens and I've tried a bunch of different things. Maybe I would enjoy the variety, and turns out I do not enjoy the variety. So it's great that I only spent $30 to make sure that I don't make a $300 mistake. Next, we have another Ginhow, and it's this one here. And I'm just going to say lump this in the group of Ginhow oversized pens. This one is the Ginhow X159. And it comes in a variety of nib sizes and colors. It also has a giant nib. Look at that. I'll compare that to like the Platinum Jazz for a moment. Do you see? That is crazy, right? And it's great because big nibs usually means that there's going to be a little bit more bounce to it. Just because the tines are so long and then the tipping is so far from where it can actually flex, you guys can actually get a little bit more bounce from it. And I do get that with this guy. So there you go. I'll just write this real quick. Ginhow X159. And I have this in a medium. So does it post? Yes, it posts. And it's plastic, so it's not going to be like back weighted or anything. It just kind of sits as is. I really like this pen because it feels really good in the hand. The grip section is wide enough. It's great. And also it's only around that like $10 to $15 mark. And it can handle shimmer inks. I don't have a shimmer ink in this right now, but I've had Diamine Electric Pink in here, and that writes totally fine with it. It is slightly bouncy. It is a wet writer, and it's smooth. It's smooth. It feels like a little bit like a pencil, but after you've kind of like shaved it down a little bit, so it's like relatively smooth. It's not like that crisp HB sort of feeling. It's like a dull HB sort of feeling. I would recommend this, but it is a luck of the draw. I find that pens like this from Ginhow are kind of hit or miss. Like you can get one that writes perfectly fine out of the box and it's great. That's the experience I had with this. My friend also bought one at the same time as I did at a pen convention. Hers basically doesn't really write. So she had to do a little bit of fixing on that one, unfortunately. But that's just kind of how it is. So if you get a good one, it's great. If you don't get a good one, then you have to work on it. That's the only thing. So if you're gifting this to somebody, I would suggest maybe checking it out first, maybe dipping it a little bit and seeing does it actually work, or like water testing it before you gift it to someone, because it would suck if they got it and if they're a total beginner, they would be like, well, what do I do? It doesn't write, right? So that's the one thing to think about. The Dadao is also, I think that's a 9019. I'm not too sure, but like I know it's called the Dadao from Ginhow. Is also another big oversized pen, which is great if you have large hands or if your grip is a little bit up from the pen. So for me, pens that are this size are really comfortable. They could be a little bit bigger and it's still nice, just because as you can tell when I write, like the back of my hand already rests at the very edge of the pen. It's, yeah. So great for big hands is what I'm going to say for this one. And it comes in a variety of colors. I just got that in the green because I love green. but there are many, many others. Okay. Next, I have the Diplomat Magnum, which I want another one. And I know I said all that stuff about the Lamy Safari, and this one also has the window. God, I wish this one did not have the window. I just hate it. But it makes up for it because I'm like kind of a Diplomat fan. Like I have, how many Diplomats do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 Diplomats because I have like 5 Diplomat arrows. Anyway, I just love Diplomats. They're like so great. First of all, does the Diplomat Magnum post? It posts quite securely. Comes in a bunch of different colors. I have this in the green, but there are a lot other ones. This one is a plastic body. It has a little ink window here, and it comes in a variety of nib sizes as well. I have this in a medium, but it comes in extra fine, fine, and it also comes in a broad, which is like I need to get that broad. So let's just, this is the, and it has a little bit of a bounce to it as well. Not as much as the Hongyu C2, but definitely it is there. It is a cartridge converter filling mechanism as well. And you can get this for around 25 to 35, depending on where you buy it. I'm finding when I did my Google search that the upper end of almost all these prices are from Amazon. So I have no idea if that's because, like in the past, I find that Amazon was very comparable to local shops or even cheaper. However, recently they've gotten quite expensive on Amazon. Again, Amazon's an American company, so I don't know if that has had any effects because I'm looking at it from amazon.ca, which is the Canadian website. So that could be it, but like this is basically what I'm seeing right now. I love this pen. I will get another pen of this. I just think it's fantastic. It's lightweight. It's great. It's so robust. And although it's plastic, it's quite thick plastic, and I feel like it's just not gonna crack. And I've had this one for a while now, since maybe like 8 months ago around, and I've been using it in my weekly rotation all the time. And it's great. It's also a great pen that like other people can use, and you don't feel like anxious about them using it because you're like, oh no, is it gonna like not right, or are they gonna break it? Or even something like, I have a pen where sometimes it's temperamental, and if it decides to leak, then it'll get all over whoever's borrowing my pen's fingers, and then I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like, yeah, should have grabbed a ballpoint for them instead, you know? So this one isn't that. It's a super reliable pen. All my Diplomats are incredibly reliable. They never hard start. They always write. They're always smooth. They're just like really, really wonderful pens. And I highly, highly recommend it. This one is quite smooth. If I was going to compare between like the German brands here, I would say the Diplomat is the smoothest out of these guys. Okay. Next. Ooh. Oh, we gotta talk about this one. This is the Twisby Swipe. And I'm gonna lump the Twisby Swipe and also the Twisby Go in the same category because they're about the same price. First off, snap cap. Second, does it post? Yes, it posts. Oh, post too securely, maybe. All right, so right now I have this guy with a cartridge, which I really shouldn't be, so I have to actually shake it up a bit. But I can promise you this does not happen normally when I am using the converter system. It's just that this cartridge is like not that compatible with this pen. Like it really needs to use its actual converter that it comes with, by the way. And its converter is just a converter with a little screw, not screw, sorry, with a spring in it. I'll just show you real quick. it's this guy over here, and it's great. It's just you press it down and you grab the ink. Huge capacity in comparison to a cartridge. And also not only huge capacity, it is the easiest thing to clean. Like you don't need a bulb syringe, you don't need anything. You just grab your pen and just pump, and then it's completely clean in like a bowl of water. So for that ease of like use, already like 9 out of 10. And then the fact that they come in so many different colors is great. And the nib sizes. So this is the first broad in this best fountain pen list. So I think that them showing up in a broad is great, because this means that people can give this a shot and see, do I even like this sort of like marker like feeling? Because that's what this pen feels like. It feels like I'm writing with like a dry erase marker a little bit, but in like a very small format. So this one comes out to be about $29 to $38. And I really highly recommend this. The only thing is that I know some people say that these pens can be prone to cracking because the plastic itself is actually not that thick. It's not as thick as like, say, the Diplomat. My Diplomat definitely feels a little bit more robust than this pen here. However, I personally have not had this problem yet, and I've had this pen for quite a while now, and I always use it, and I haven't had that issue. And this cap, as you can tell, is still very secure on this pen. But you're gonna get that Twisby feeling, right? Like if you're interested in a Twisby Eco, for example, or a Twisby Precision, or whatever your Twisby dream pen is, this kind of gives you the taste of how their pens are going to write. I find that my Twisby Swipe writes very similarly to a Twisby Eco, and Twisby Eco is a little bit, it's sort of like double the price of a Twisby Swipe. All right, so next I have this pen that I reviewed recently, and I really enjoy it. This is the Hongyu Ten 1851. It's part of their Black Forest series. I have this in a medium, and this is around that, like it's just around that $30 mark. So I'm just gonna put it here similarly to the Ginhow 10. I really like this. This comes in a variety of colors. That's basically why I'm saying that this pen is great, because it's a really reliable writer. It posts at the back, and it's affordable. But the one thing is it comes in an extra fine, fine, and a medium, right? So you have more of a selection compared to some other Chinese pens where they only come in an extra fine or a fine. The Twisby, I forgot to mention, comes from extra fine all the way up to broad, and so that one's really great. So this comes in these ones, really good weight. Again, metal pen, you can throw it around. It does not really get dinged up very much, and even if it does, it won't be that bad. Like I throw this with a bunch of other pens, and I've had other metal pens like immediately get scratches. I haven't had that issue with this pen as of yet. So it's great. Also does not hard start for me. All right. And then I have this guy, which is the Sheaer 100. And you can see, that's what I mean. I don't know if you can see it actually. There's like a couple of scratches here on the cap, and it's very immediate. Like I think I got those scratches like the day after I bought it. So if a pen of mine is in my collection for over a week and doesn't have a scratch, I would usually say that that pen is pretty scratch resistant, just because of the way I use my pens and the way I store my pens. Okay, does this cap? This does cap, great. I mean, not cap, this posts securely. Okay, so this is the, and I always spell them wrong, so let's hope that I spell it right. Sheaer 100, and I have this in a medium. I believe this also comes in a fine, but I have it in the medium. And this pen is a little bit more expensive. I am kind of blanking as to how expensive this pen is right now, so I'll come back to it, but I'll talk about this pen for now. So the reason why I have this on here is because this pen is really cute. It comes in a variety of different colors. This is not the only one that it comes with. There's the red, there's also one that is black, and I believe there's one that is silver as well. So I just checked and I'm seeing, wow, this is crazy. It comes in a coffee brown as well. That's also the thing. The coffee brown one's more expensive. The coffee brown one looks like it's $100, but I'm also seeing it for, the lowest I'm seeing it here is about 45. So 45 to 100. Let's just say because of the different colorway. All right, so obviously this is way higher than that $30 mark that I gave earlier, right? But the reason why I have this here is because the Sheaer 100 has the same nib as the Sheaer 300, and that pen, the 300, is way more expensive than this one. So if you're looking for like bang for your buck, this is a great, reliable writer. It is also a cartridge converter system. So Sheaer is proprietary again. So that's something to make sure you like keep in mind whenever you buy like cartridges for this pen. It's got to be the Sheaer ones, and if you want a converter, it's got to be the one that fits onto this style. Sheaer also comes out with another converter, I think, for some of their more vintage pens or some of their like special edition pens, and that's a different converter than this one. So you have to like make sure that you get the right converter for it. I haven't done that thus far. I actually bought the wrong converter for this, and then it's just kind of sitting there. So there's this pen over here, metal body, really robust. The cap is not so scratch resistant, but the body is, so that's great. It has like sort of this like red lacquered finish. The coffee one is so cute. Is it worth that like $55 markup? No, probably not in my opinion, but if you love like those like coffee themed fountain pens and stuff, I can imagine that the coffee colored one is a great addition to the collection. I highly recommend this. I also think that this one is, it's not too flashy. It's not like my other pens where it's like green and gold and like rose gold or like celluloid looking or resin and things like that. So then it's a really good pen to take out for if you need to go to a meeting and you don't want your pen to be kind of ridiculous looking compared to other people. Like I don't think that any pen is like ridiculous looking other than maybe the Visconti Iopenna, not sure how to pronounce that one, but other than that one, I think everything else is pretty normal. So, but if you wanted a more professional looking pen, this is a great one and offers a really great writing experience for the value, especially when knowing that the higher end model of this pen, the 300, uses the exact same nib. All right. How many do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I already have 10. Okay. So I think I'm going to have to make this an 11 because this is a pocket pen and I think everyone should get a pocket pen. My favorite pocket pen is actually a Pilot Petite 1. They don't make that anymore, so it cannot be easy to find, right? So I have this guy over here, and this is the Moonman or Mahjong pen, and you can post it by twisting on the cap at the back because it has some threads there, and it becomes like a full-sized pen. The step down here is very sharp. Warning in advance. All right, so let's just push this up a little bit. And this is an eyedropper fill. So if you're looking for something to just like hold, so this basically, that means that this entire section here is just filled with ink. Like I just open this up and then drip in the ink and everything. So this one is the Hongyu Mini. So Moonman. And I have this with a, I want to say a fine nib, yes. But honestly, it writes like the medium, doesn't it? This comes in a variety of colors, like literally every color that you could think of. A demonstrator will run you about like $10. It will go up to $25 for the ones that are like a tortoise looking resin, or the ones that are made of wood, etc., etc. Super cute, always reliable, huge ink capacity. So like you fill it up once and you basically don't have to do anything with it. And it's a wet writer. It can also handle a lot of shimmer inks and sheening inks. Doesn't dry out for me. This is a great pen. And I think it's also super portable. So it's smaller than the size of a lipstick. So even if I had like, I was wearing a clutch and I needed to write something at some point in that time, I could just slip this in there and it would be totally fine. It wouldn't take up a lot of room in my handbag. All right, so now that I have, these are my top 10, I want to give 2 honorary mentions. So before that, I'm just gonna grab all of them. These are all the pens that we talked about today. I don't even know if all of them fit on the screen. They do not. So just FYI, I've got all of these ones up and these 2 as well at the bottom. So a lot of them were discussed today, a total of 11, because I couldn't count right and I thought I had 10. Okay. Let's go to the honorary mentions. So I have 2 honorary mentions. They are both from the same brand. One is this guy. So this is in an honorary mention because it is just a weird pen. Like maybe some people don't want to write with this, right? So I wouldn't say it's the best beginner fountain pen in the sense that like everyone is probably going to be like, oh, this is my what I perceive to be a pen, and then you give them this and they're like, this looks like a weird chubby marker thing. I don't know what this is, right? Like in that sense, it's not the best like beginner fountain pen, but what I love about it is it's just so interesting. So if you have a friend who's a little bit more quirky, kooky, however you want to say it, and they like something a little bit more unique, this might actually be a great choice for them. It comes in a variety of nib sizes, but normally they are only available in extra fine and fine. However, you can buy the medium separately. It is an eyedropper fill, which means that you just put in the ink into this barrel of the pen here. And does it post? It does post. Not particularly securely, I have to say that. So I wouldn't use this for like super long writing sessions unless your grip is like very unique and you can like hold it like this. So I have this. And it is, as you can tell, a really wet writer. So Moonman is also called Mahjong. And I have this one is the Q1 and I have it in a medium. And this one retails for anywhere from $17 for a clear demonstrator all the way to $30 for ones like the one that I have here, or the wood ones. So this one has a really pretty green finish. I hope you guys can see it. It is so sparkly and pretty. So I really, really like this pen. I think it's great. I take it out sometimes when I'm like, oh, I kind of just want to pull out a funny looking pen to write with, and it's very fun. Just makes the writing experience more fun. So I really enjoy this pen for that. And it comes in so many colors, comes in so many nib sizes. or like your standard nib sizes. And the clip is even so cute because it's so small. This one also can take a lot of glitter as well as sheening inks, so that's great. So I'll just bring this up. Can you guys see that? The glitter that is in this ink. And it takes forever. The first time I filled this up, it took me 2 years, well, 1.75 before I finished it. And I just recently got to add in more ink and change out the ink for a different one. The next pen I have is from the same brand, and it's called the S5. This is what it comes in, a little box. And I really, really like this because the S5 is a beautiful demonstrator pen. So that means this part is normally all clear. I've just filled it out with the ink right now, so then you can't really see that. It's another eyedropper fill, so it has a large ink capacity, and it comes with 3 different nibs. It comes with a fine nib or an extra fine nib, which is over here, one of these two. And then it also comes with a fude nib, so it kind of like flips up. So let's see if I have it with me. I might have put it onto a different pen. Oh, no, here. Okay. Do you guys see that? How it just like, it has an upturn. So a fude is really, really fun if you're looking for like line variation, right? This pen also handles a lot of glitter and shimmer and like sheening inks very well. In fact, I have an ink in here right now that both sheens and also is shimmery. Another thing I love about this pen, so I'm taking this away, is that it's just fun to have a demonstrator ink that you can like turn around and watch the ink go here and there. Instead of having a clip, it has a crystal here that acts as a roll stop. It is a twist cap, and it posts securely. Although the post does not lengthen the length of the pen, so yeah, there is a bit of a sharp drop over here, and you can feel the threading. It also comes with a stub nib, which is great because you buy one pen and you have basically 3 different ways of writing with it. And I wrote the very top of this in cursive using this pen actually. So it's an incredibly wet writer. It is also very, very smooth. So it is the Moonman S5. I have the stub. And this one retails for the $25 to $35 range. And the one thing about this pen is that it does burp. I find that my other eyedropper pens in this list do not burp that much, but this one does. So burping is basically, I live in a cold climate, right? I live in Canada. So whenever I take my pens out, I come back in and then I start using them, my hand warms up the air inside and then it kind of squeezes because the hot air expands. It squeezes some of the ink out and then it kind of spits. Like it just goes and it like burps out some ink. I've had that issue with this pen. I don't know if it's because I have the stub nib, it's a little bit more wet. I have not had that with the other 2 Moonmans, like the Hongyu Mini or the cute one. I have not had a burping issue there, but I do get it for S5, but only when I have less than 25% of the ink left in this pen. If I have more than that, like 50% full or 75% full, 100% full, I do not have that problem. I only have that problem when it gets past that 25% full spot. This one doesn't come in all these colors, but it does come in a few different styles up here. This resin is so pretty. Love it. And so those two are my honorary mentions. And with that, this is my list, my final list. And I guess I should write that these ones are honorary mentions. This is my list for the best beginner, in quotations, fountain pens that you can get. All right, so with that, thank you for watching. If you like it, this sort of like ranking or this sort of video, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to make some more videos where I kind of talk about a bunch of pens at a higher level instead of giving their own dedicated review. And if you want to know anything more about any particular one of these pens, please let me know as well, and I can also do a dedicated review for that specific pen. All right, cheers, have a great one, guys, bye.